Hey everybody, today's words to live by are: some people, the rare ones, choose to alchemize their suffering. They take sorrow and turn it into wisdom. They take solitude and turn it into sovereignty. They understand that being forsaken by the world is a precondition to being embraced by the divine. Powerful stuff there. Those words were inspired by Alan Watts. And I think the point here is that some people break under suffering, but sometimes they can transform because of it. So it asks us really to consider a pretty fundamental question, which is, what if your deepest struggles are not the end of your story? What if it's the beginning of a new one? Or what if it's the beginning of a complete awakening, if you believe in those types of spiritual things? And I do. So I've always found that in order to facilitate this transformation, you have to face your suffering head on. So when you try to sort of deny it or run from it, that's when any possible transformation is held back. And so one example for me is probably the time in my life when I suffered greatly, or the most. And it was when I spent 94 days in rehabilitation for alcohol. And so for that month and a half, nobody would say that that's a high point in one's life. When I list my life achievements and accomplishments, that is not one of them. But I remember walking out of there after a month and a half, totally transformed. And the reason was because I faced it. I almost, after a period of time, years later, I almost became proud of it, because I sort of look back and say, the reason why I was there was not great, but what happened afterwards was great. And so it was almost like I had to stop holding myself back from embracing the suffering. That was the hardest part, is because we always try to do everything to sort of avoid trouble and avoid feeling bad and avoid suffering, when all it's doing is facilitating more suffering. And so it was almost like I was delaying it by fighting it, when I really had to just let go and actually embrace the suffering in the short term, knowing that if I could get through it, it could be a transformational thing for me. And it absolutely became that. I just had to sort of soften my grip and embrace the suffering, and embrace why I was there, and accept the fact that it was going to be hard work for a period of time, and there might be some sad days, but at the end of it, it would be probably one of the great accomplishments that now I look back. I still wouldn't exactly like put it onto a summary of my life and be like, this was the greatest thing to ever happen, because it wasn't. But what happened afterwards, after I got through it, was great, and it was transformational. And so I think the takeaway for everybody, whether or not you have suffering as deep as that or worse, I think the takeaway is that suffering can either break you or it can build you into something new, and just know that the latter is a possibility. So hopefully this helps, and if it did and you enjoyed this reflection of mine, please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon.